Hello.
Hello.
So today we're going to talk about judgments of other people. And why we are going to do it about that is because I got a bit of casual racism towards me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's turning on the light. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, so we were doing a safeguarding course, and like me, I'm always saying, oh, I'm Dutch and I'm proud
Yeah,
to
being
be
very
Dutch.
open
And I was the only foreigner in the room. And everyone in Northern Ireland is lovely, has been lovely. And then I said something with a quite open-minded vision.
yeah, something that not a lot of people would hold the view of, especially in a more conservative group, of which
Yeah.
Northern Ireland is that. But, you know, if you said something like that in London, you know, a good proportion of people would agree with you.
Yeah.
But not where
this
we are.
lady.
Yeah.
And there was a group discussion, and the trainer, he agreed with me, what I said, just to, you know, make sure that I had a right point. And she just turned around and she looked at me really viciously, and she was like, well, in this country, we don't think that's that way. Now, I didn't really... And then Andrew was in a different part of the room, and he saw that she said, well, maybe in Holland they do, but...
Yeah, and Jamie was wide open, and the woman kind of just went in there and made a snap judgment, right?
And in that second, I didn't realise, but then a couple of, 10 minutes later, I was like, oh, that's not really nice.
No, it wasn't nice.
And I became really angry, because I was like, well, I want to defend you. Don't know anything about my country. You don't know anything about my culture. And then, you know, and I'm a white female, so I don't really experience that in general. But there's so many cultures and so many different races that do feel that they're judged just because of their looks or where they come from. And it was really interesting for me to experience it. And I've experienced that in the UK as well, but this was my first experience here.
And again, I'm fairly lucky in the sense that I'm 6'5". I look quite mean if I don't smile, and I generally, you know, if I'm in my own world, I'm quite, you know, focused. And so people generally don't confront me with things like what Jamie would experience. So I kind of turn into the politeness police, and I'm like, hey, whoa, hang on. You know, and of course we all say things out of turn. Jamie does, I do, you know.
Yeah.
But it was the spirit in which she said it. You know, I would make a joke and sometimes on a racist thing, or just to challenge people's viewpoints on race, and some people take that one way or the other. You know, but when you're not joking and you're being quite angry about it and you're saying something like that, like, that's bad. You know what I mean?
And sorry.
And just that, you know, I kind of sometimes feel like I should step in and be like, okay, can we just pull it back and let's mediate here? And now there wasn't any opportunity for that in that room, so we talked about it afterwards.
And I get from her point, because she was very passionate about her subject, and obviously she probably didn't mean to do that in that.
It was a very emotional reaction from her, basically.
And she was the rest of before that happening, she was really funny and she made some funny comments. So I probably really get on with her, but it was good for me to feel that that prideness of my own culture. And again, but
then there's judgments from your side as well, so both people are judging each other. But I mean, look, you just have to, you know, think the best of someone, really. You know, she didn't really mean to be that rude, it just came out, but she still should be held to account to that by somebody saying, look, maybe you want to just think before you speak in that environment. The next time it's related to different cultures. And I mean, look, I have judgments too. You know, sometimes I can be quite judgmental of insanely fat people, obese people, because I can't understand that way of being or getting there. But again, that's wrong, because I don't know what that person's been through. They could have had a massive injury. A partner could have left them, or someone around. They could have had a loss in the family that hit them emotionally, and they have nothing else to deal with other than
abuse
or whatever, and they have nothing else to kind of suppress their feelings or deal with what's going on with them than by using their food, and maybe there's no one else to help them, etc. You know, so I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it.
You know.
But
Yeah.
it's about trying to be aware of, let's just take a few more, like what we said in one of the other vlogs, just take a little bit more time for your decision-making process to catch up with your brain, rather than you just being like,
That's a good one.
I say, yeah. Not nice when people come up to you and go, like those small dogs you get in the park.
Those are really annoying. But yeah, and I think that's we are challenging each other, because sometimes he really can have a judgmental thing, and then I will, we will discuss it, and the same goes for me when I see someone on the street and I wouldn't wear her coat, I think, ooh. I wouldn't wear that coat, and that's fine. But those are thoughts. And again, if you've got loads of thoughts about judging other people, then there's something probably within yourself that you need to address. Because why are you looking at all these other people, trying to judge them, even though, if you're in a good place yourself, you don't really.
Well, yeah,
mind
and
so
most
many.
likely half the time it's none of your business.
Yeah.
But then on top of that as well, you can come to these sorts of things with an attitude of just being like, well, it's their life, they can live it how they want. But when you make judgments and you force your mind into a certain way of thinking, you're kind of trapping yourself there. And you can always reserve the right to be wrong. I always apologize for stupid things I say, but do it immediately and say, oh, look, I'm sorry. Have the courage to say, that really was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. That came from a place of emotion, and I apologize.
Yeah.
Now, if the person won't let you apologize and they're like, no, and they keep on at it, you're like, look,
then it's
not on you.
No.
Because all this finger pointing, again, that's them judging you straight away. Again, it's like, you just have to try and be like, look, let's all be friends.
Yeah, and be open about it, because there's a lot of, Dutch are known as being very direct. And whenever
Northern Irish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So whenever you're in a conversation and you say something, and immediately the energy changes, and you're like, and you feel, oh, I've said something wrong. Instead of, a lot of people just don't say and acknowledge that. But like Andrew said, when you open up that conversation, oh, sorry, did I, what, sorry, and also understanding their process of thinking and what hurt them, because there's a pain point that you hit, and then it's. Yeah, hopefully the other person is open to sharing that with you.
On that point, though, some people can make things about something they're not, and that happens to me a lot when I say something. People make it about something that's not what I'm trying to say, because they don't listen, and they have such pain in them, they have such a chip on their shoulder, that they make it about that thing. Now, that's happening all the time in the news nowadays with feminism, racism, a lot of things that are kind of topical, that people try to take something you say and make it about something else, because they're not really listening. All they're trying to do is talk at you to prove how right they are. Now, that's a different issue, and I think you should really try and break down what it is they're angry about and what it is that you're saying, and take your time with it. But some people won't let you, and they'll just keep on their track, and they'll keep being angry. And you've just got to let them have that anger and just back off, because you're not going to win with someone who's stuck in that way. So that's another matter, which isn't to do with judgments. I don't think that's people getting confused about what each other's talking about. Yeah.
But anyway, so that's a lot.
So the challenge, is
just becoming aware of your judgments to other people, and. Because there's so many, we've got millions of thoughts a day.
Yeah.
And within those millions, there's judgments, a lot of judgments. Just becoming aware, and what does it serve you when you judge someone else? What is there? What does it trigger within yourself?
Try and be positive. Try and think the best of someone. And if they prove you wrong as not being the best version of themselves, well, then at least you tried.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.